Life can often seem like a series of cliches, those familiar occurrences or sayings that seem to repeat themselves. Lately, my own life has fallen into that pattern, particularly in relation to my wife of a decade. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Martin Baxter, the proprietor of a salsa business nestled in Santa Barbara, California. My repertoire includes an array of Mexican, Central, and South American peppers, and I've recently delved into crafting habanero salsa, a hit among aficionados, albeit in modest doses. Surprisingly, it's also gained traction among college circles, sometimes as part of initiation rituals in fraternities. Life led me to this business due to my enduring passion for spicy cuisine. Regarding my wife, Cindy, she has recently exhibited signs of emotional distance, fitting snugly into the cliches of marital discord. Reflecting on our early years together, our love burned brightly. Fresh out of the Army, I was eager to establish my salsa enterprise after honing my culinary skills during my service, finding solace in cooking during my deployment in Afghanistan. Securing a loan was a breeze in those pre-recession days before the housing market collapse. Despite economic upheavals, Baxter's Burner remains a thriving venture. However, marital troubles now overshadow business success. The root of the issue lies in Cindy's infidelity, a classic cliché in its own right. The revelation unfolded in a manner befitting cliché itself. No dramatic homecomings caught her in the act, but rather, a mundane return for a forgotten item led me to eavesdrop on her clandestine conversation with her lover while our son was at school. Yes, we share a son, Brian, named after Cindy's father. And yes, there's no doubt about his paternity, as he was conceived during our honeymoon aboard her father's yacht. A subsequent DNA test confirmed his lineage after suspicions arose about Cindy's extramarital liaison. The catalyst for this upheaval was another cliché, a forgotten laptop containing the formula for my latest salsa creation, Scorch. While not groundbreaking in concept, its pure habanero-based promised novelty. As I retrieved the forgotten device, I inadvertently stumbled upon Cindy's explicit conversation, unraveling the facade of our once idyllic marriage. My world crumbled around me. In a daze, I retrieved my laptop and made my way back to the shop, the drive a blur. Upon arrival, Becky manned the counter while Sari conducted a tasting session with a customer, showcasing our latest batch of picante salsa. Struggling to mask my turmoil with a forced smile, I pondered my next steps. Divorce seemed inevitable, compounded by the prenuptial agreement Cindy's father insisted upon, foreseeing scenarios like this. According to its terms, infidelity would leave the guilty party with nothing in the event of a split, a condition I accepted, knowing it protected both of us. Cliched questions flooded my mind. How long had she been unfaithful? Why did she betray me? Was I inadequate? Why disrespect me with another man? If she's unhappy, why linger? How to prove her adultery? Then, a malevolent idea took root. Surprisingly, I felt no remorse contemplating it. Assessing my attributes, a well-endowed prowess in the bedroom, physical fitness, and sexual expertise, I dismissed doubts about my desirability. It couldn't be about sex, could it? I had mastered the art, delving into the Kama Sutra and maintaining peak physical condition. Yet, my revenge scheme emerged as the darkest plan ever conceived. Harnessing the fiery potency of habanero peppers, I envisioned inflicting torment beyond imagination. 450,000 Scoville units unleashed in intimate cavities promised exquisite suffering. I swiftly concocted a small batch, subjecting my employees to a fiery ordeal that earned their approval. Still, I needed a delivery method. As the day waned, I departed early, stopping by my lawyer's office to initiate divorce proceedings on grounds of infidelity. Though initially hesitant, my lawyer relented upon hearing my account of the morning's conversation, preparing the necessary documents. Leaving the lawyer's office behind, I drove home, my thoughts swirling. Upon reaching my street, a flash of anger ignited as I spotted a red Mercedes speeding away from my driveway, piloted by the familiar face of the man who had invaded my marriage, the asshole. His smug expression fueled my rage. I recognized him from Cindy's social circles, always eager to dance with her, oblivious to the betrayal simmering beneath her affections. My resolve solidified, ready to execute my revenge. Maintaining composure upon arrival was paramount. I concealed my turmoil behind a facade of marital bliss, greeting Cindy with feigned affection. Despite her outward charm, the memory of her betrayal tainted my perception. Engaging in small talk, I suppressed the urge to confront her, biding my time until dinner. As I ventured into our bedroom, the remnants of their liaison lingered, repulsing me. Disgust spurred an idea, the cherry-scented lubricant, a telltale clue of their illicit encounters. With a smirk, I concocted a devilish plan. Manipulating the contents of the lubricant tube, I injected it with my fiery salsa, a fitting punishment for their transgressions. Satisfaction surged as I restored the tube to its place, undetected. Refreshed by a shower, I joined Cindy for dinner, masking my inner turmoil with casual conversation. Despite the aroma of her cooking, tinged with bittersweet nostalgia, thoughts of retribution eclipsed any sentimentality. As we savored her lasagna, I harbored no illusions about the impending end of our marriage. Yet, amidst the turmoil, a sense of liberation blossomed, a newfound freedom from the shackles of deceit and betrayal. Brian returned home, taking his usual place between Cindy and me. We exchanged pleasantries, discussing his day at school, while Cindy reminded him of his homework, a testament to her dedication as a mother. In the realm of intimacy, Cindy's adeptness was undeniable, making our encounters fulfilling and memorable, whether passionate or tender. Yet, as I contemplated my impending actions, the gravity of my decisions weighed heavily. My plan for retribution against Cindy and her lover felt petty, overshadowed by the prospect of divorce and its potential impact on our son, Brian. I couldn't bear the thought of subjecting him to the turmoil that would follow. In the midst of emotional turmoil, I excused myself, citing fatigue from sampling an excessively spicy salsa at work. Cindy, sympathetic to my discomfort, bid me good night, unaware of the storm brewing within me. Retreating to my den, I retrieved my old camcorder and tape recorder, relics of past memories. Concealing the camcorder strategically in our bedroom, I ensured it remained undetected, its silent vigil poised to capture any indiscretion. Likewise, I positioned the tape recorder beneath the bed, ready to document any incriminating conversations. Anticipating their routine, I prepared for an extended surveillance period, confident in my technological arsenal. However, the possibility of their inactivity the following day lingered, a potential snag in my scheme. To maintain cover, I briefed Becky, my trusted employee, on my planned absence, enlisting her support in maintaining the facade of normalcy. Aware of Becky's loyalty and competence, I entrusted her with the details, reassured by her understanding and discretion. With preparations in place, I embarked on my mission, determined to uncover the truth, regardless of the cost. Sleep eluded me that night, my mind consumed by anticipation and apprehension. The prospect of what the morning might unveil weighed heavily on my thoughts, each scenario playing out in my mind. Their clandestine affair seemed well established, prompting me to devise a plan for the following day and beyond. As dawn broke, I sprung into action, dressed as usual, and waited for Cindy to retreat to the shower. With the camera and recorder discreetly activated, I slipped out, executing my covert maneuver to position myself for surveillance. Concealed from view, I stationed myself near our bedroom window, equipped with supplies to sustain me during the stakeout. Once Cindy ushered Brian off to school, she resumed her clandestine conversations, arranging another rendezvous with her lover. Confident in my concealment, I ventured to a nearby drugstore, procuring a tube of cherry KY jelly as a precautionary measure. Returning home, I settled into my surveillance post, indulging in a leisurely snack while awaiting their arrival. The sound of assholes' Mercedes heralded their presence, their disregard for discretion evident. Fueled by vindictive resolve, I seized the opportunity to enact my revenge. As assholes' car sat vulnerable in the driveway, I seized the moment, defacing it with a damning inscription, relishing the cathartic release of my pent-up anger. With newfound determination, I proceeded to sabotage his vehicle, reveling in the prospect of wreaking havoc on his prized possession. My actions teetered on the brink of legality, but the prospect of retribution eclipsed any concerns of consequence. Armed with the knowledge of his identity, I branded him with the epithet he deserved, unleashing a small measure of the vengeance burning within me. As the screams erupted, signaling the fruition of my revenge, I wasted no time. Contacting my attorney, Paul, I declared the commencement of our legal battle, ensuring he was prepared to receive the evidence within hours. With swift precision, I instructed him to initiate legal proceedings, including an adultery lawsuit against Mr. John Lawson in the divorce papers. Returning to my vantage point, I savored the chaos unfolding inside, fueled by the satisfaction of their suffering. Beneath the window, I indulged in another swig of ale, relishing the sounds of agony echoing from within. Their cries of pain provided a symphony of vindication, confirming the success of my plan. With a grin stretching across my face, I listened as they grappled with the inferno raging within their bodies. Eventually, I staged my return, feigning forgetfulness to gain entry. Their torment was palpable as I confronted them, their anguish a testament to the potency of my vengeance. In a calculated display of fury, I administered punishment, delivering blows with righteous indignation. As chaos ensued, I executed the final phase of my plan, swapping the doctored KY with a pristine tube, ensuring no trace remained. Summoning emergency services, I painted a picture of betrayal and agony, orchestrating the culmination of my scheme. With the authorities dispatched, I concluded the call, sealing their fate with a sense of satisfaction and closure. Our neighbor, Mrs. Kendall, was renowned for her nosiness and penchant for gossip. Aware of her awareness regarding assholes' frequent visits, I seized the opportunity to glean information when the authorities arrived. Engaging Mrs. Kendall in conversation, I subtly probed for details about the red Mercedes. Her feigned innocence hinted at her complicity in the neighborhood drama, affirming my suspicions. Grateful for her cooperation, I secured her willingness to provide a statement to the police, acknowledging her invaluable assistance. With her assurance, I returned to the awaiting officers, prepared to navigate the unfolding investigation. Reaching out to Becky for support, I enlisted her and Sari in crafting an alibi, detailing the morning's events. Their laughter and solidarity bolstered my resolve, easing the tension of the situation. Facing interrogation from the detective, I recounted my actions, admitting to confronting the intruder on my property. The detective noted my account, prioritizing the unfolding circumstances over my momentary lapse of control. As the investigation progressed, the EMT's intervention facilitated Cindy's recovery, enabling the authorities to collect crucial evidence. With the KY tube secured, I offered a plausible explanation for its presence, mitigating suspicion. Ultimately, Mrs. Kendall's corroborating testimony provided a crucial alibi, reinforcing my innocence in the eyes of the law. Grateful for her unwitting assistance, I navigated the aftermath of my revenge with a newfound sense of confidence. I vehemently denied any involvement in the defacement of Asshole's car, though I expressed gratitude toward the anonymous perpetrator. As Cindy and Asshole were transported to the hospital, I seized the opportunity to gather evidence. Retrieving the camcorder and voice recorder, I ceased both recordings and proceeded to my den to download the footage. In a meticulous editing process, I removed the incriminating segments from both the video and audio recordings. Detective Crawford entered my den as I concluded my revisions, assuring me of leniency regarding the car vandalism. He also pledged not to include the incident with Asshole's injuries in his report. Our conversation took a personal turn as Detective Crawford revealed his own experience with marital infidelity. We shared a moment of camaraderie as we reviewed the footage, finding humor in the chaos unfolding before us. After ensuring the legal repercussions for Asshole's actions, Detective Crawford departed, leaving behind a shared chuckle at the absurdity of the situation. Finally, the enigma of why found its answer. The disparity in size between Asshole and me shed light on Cindy's unexpected preference. I never imagined her as a size queen, but evidently, she sought something larger and now faced the consequences. I promptly contacted Paul to dispatch process servers to Santa Barbara General, where Cindy and Asshole were admitted. Transmitting the evidence of their affair, I instructed Paul to obtain Mrs. Kendall's statement from the authorities. With these actions set in motion, I awaited Brian's return. Yet, a moral dilemma loomed large. How would I explain Cindy's hospitalization to my 9-year-old son? After deliberation, I devised a strategy to address the situation delicately. I resolved to convey to him that Mommy struggled with fidelity, emphasizing the importance of commitment in relationships. My aim was to instill in my son a sense of respect for marital vows, ensuring he understood the gravity of infidelity. As I reflected on the events, a burst of laughter escaped me. The irony struck me. Cindy's own words from the morning prior had inadvertently inspired my revenge. I want you to light my ass on fire with that big fuckstick, baby. Her words echoed in my mind. Well, her wish was granted. An hour later, the hospital called my cell. Hello? I answered. Marty. Cindy's voice seethed with anger. Oh, hi, I replied nonchalantly. I assume the process servers found you and your companion? Oh, and asshole too? I couldn't resist a smirk. Fuck you. I don't know what you did, but I'll press charges on your pathetic ass. Cindy's rage blazed through the phone. What the hell are you babbling about, you cheating whore? I shot back, launching my counterattack. I came home, and what do I find? You in the shower with some random asshole. I don't know what games you're playing, but I just learned about it this morning. And as for my little dick, seems you've been spoiled by Mr. Big Red Cock there, huh? No wonder you're so loose lately. Prenup's in effect, bitch. Don't bother coming back. Brian stays with me, and you'll get nothing in the divorce once my evidence hits court. Consider yourself lucky for visitation, but I won't let you poison his mind with your infidelity. Her defiance waned. You wouldn't tell him, would you? You bet I will. Why hide the truth? He deserves to know what kind of mother he has. I continued my verbal assault. A slut. A deceitful whore. How many others have there been? Is Brian even mine? If not, you'll tell me, and I'll make the real father pay for his child. No, Brian is ours, she confessed weakly. Forgive me if I don't take your word for it, I retorted, my hostility unchecked. Her sobs filled the line, a symphony to my ears. Perhaps I was becoming a real bastard, but I had every reason. I refused to be humiliated any longer. That role was reserved for Mr. John Big Cock Lawson, or was it Mr. John Nutless Wondered Lawson now? Either way, he remained an asshole. When Brian returned home, I softened my tone, providing only essential details. I transformed it into a lesson on fidelity, teaching him the consequences of adultery. Mommy would recover, but she wouldn't reside with us anymore. He embraced me and expressed his love for both of us, though he didn't want to live with an adult raider. I couldn't help but smile at his innocent mispronunciation. Not much else to report, except that the divorce went smoothly. I spoke to Cindy's father about the situation, and I confessed what I had done. His laughter was so hearty, I feared he might have a heart attack. Cindy did eventually recover fully, but she swore off salsa and avoided anal encounters, as far as I know. John Ascolio Lawson ended up having his damaged testicles surgically removed. The official police report attributed it to an accidental injury in the shower, claiming he slipped and hit his balls on a bar of soap. I couldn't help but smirk at that one. Detective Crawford had a knack for creative justice. Last I heard, asshole had disappeared from town, presumably seeking anonymity. Well, that's what you get for messing with another man's wife. When Cindy finally confessed the catalyst for the affair, she admitted that he had made advances at one of her social events while I was away securing a pepper contract. She had too much to drink, and once she experienced his large endowment, she craved it incessantly. She claimed she still loved me and that it was merely physical. And just when you thought cliches were over? Not a chance. She pleaded for reconciliation, cliché. She swore she'd never stray again, cliché. I told her to get lost, cliché. And so it goes. Becky and I started dating, and she assured me she wasn't fixated on size. Especially after our first encounter, where she climaxed as I penetrated her deeply. We're tying the knot next month, and our baby is due next spring. Brian is thrilled about having a new sibling. The last time I spoke with Cindy after her visitation with Brian, we had a conversation. I never should have betrayed you, Marty, she sighed with resignation. Why not? I was a fool, and he set your world on fire, I replied with a grin, relishing the shock on her face. Life is filled with cliches. But sometimes, life is also pretty damn good. The end.